There was a lot of pain attached to the relationship that I had with my mom in the previous years. And now, it just feels like healing.
At ease, it's your boy Soul Immortal. It's crazy how something that happened to us early in age could continue to have an effect on us year after year, decade after decade. It could have been something as major as us being mishandled physically, early, in our youth, right? It could have been, a relationship that we experienced that was based or had a foundation of the trauma that we experienced, or the trauma from our parents from generations before us. Or it could have been something as simple as, just miscommunication between us and a parent that just needs to be, talked about, dealt with, before we can move forward. All of these things, take healing, right? And I've learned over time that to get this proper healing, it only takes one thing.
Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you on based on, whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
Over the past week, I've talked about this topic, the topic of healing from trauma, a number of times in such a short time frame, right? So I think that it's important that we discuss it. When I made The Beautiful Faces of Evil, the documentary that talks about the Proverbs 5 woman and my personal experiences in life, man, when I made that, man, you have no idea how much freedom I gained from that, right? I said this in a video before. When I made that project, it was strictly for me. That was strictly a part of my healing, because I was really unpacking a lot of things that were weight on my shoulders that I really had no clue were damaging me like they were, right? Now, in that documentary, I spoke about my father, and I talk about my father, in several videos. I have been, since I've been making YouTube videos, and I always talk about the impact my dad had on me, right? And even though my dad only lived for, 12, 13 years of my life, it still amazes me on how he was able to instill or able to put time release downloads inside of me to still teach me, when I was in my 20s and 30s and even now. But at the same time, there were some things that happened in my life that I was really just, turning an eye to. As much as my father did to help me and is still helping me, there were some things that I experienced, or there were some things that I witnessed that damaged me as well. And I just blocked those things out. And the thing is, I was kind of unaware that these things were damaging me. And to really go over those things, you really need to watch the documentary for, I don't want to waste a lot of time on that. But this is when I noticed that I was starting to observe or starting to identify these things, and it was starting to affect me. I can remember when my father first died. I was young, but as I got older, when I turned 16 and was able to drive, at least once or twice a year, man, I would go out to the cemetery, man, and make sure my dad's grave was cleaned up and all that stuff, and brush the dust off, And it's not that I'm not the type of person that feels like I have, that my father's soul lives there. But that's still a representation of him, that plot in the ground, right? So I kept it clean. But what I noticed over the years, mainly when I got in my 30s, that sometimes I would go out there, man, and look at it, and I would see the grass growing up a little bit, and I would see a little dirt, maybe half the plot was kind of half the headstone was kind of covered up, and I kind of just looked at it, and I would just keep it moving, man. I didn't give it that attention, and then it came a point in time for maybe a span of a couple of years, a few years, I don't know how long, where I wouldn't even go out there anymore. And what came to me at some point, I was just saying, I said, I'm kind of upset, because what I noticed is this. What I had noticed is the thing that I experienced my father, do, that I felt like, damn, I saw myself repeating these patterns. See, I had called it my truth. I was like, if the man that I hold high moved like that, I said, that must be the way I moved. And I saw that I was getting the same result. So, I became somewhat angry, man. And so I had to go through some steps to get to healing that freed me from all that stuff. Also in that documentary, I talked about a relationship with a toxic ex I had. I would always, let me tell you this, man. Just first off, people underestimate the power of toxic relationships, man. I talk to a lot of guys, and these guys are saying, man, I got this ex, man, and even though I know she's like the worst case scenario for me, like I'm still drawn to her. I'm still, and I'm like, brother, like you have no idea that this is a spiritual thing taking place. You know what I'm saying? It's deeper than most people understand. And I'm gonna tell you my story, bro. And again, I spoke about this on a much deeper level in the documentary. But I can remember a point in time where me and my ex had stopped talking for, it was almost 2 years. We went a gap, about 2 years, no communication, no nothing, right? And the whole entire time, I still had this spiritual pull on me that I couldn't label it that while I was in it. You know what I'm saying? But there was a pull on me, and this pull had me distorted, man. Like it had my brain in a stagnant, just a non-performance. My brain was almost like I was almost brain dead, man. For a year and a half, everything I touched, man, I couldn't put energy in it. My life was just reflecting it, and I was still getting some wins. But I'm just saying that there was something spiritual pulling on me. In a conversation I had with a brother, I want to say it was just yesterday. If not yesterday, it was the day before yesterday. One of my partners, we were talking about this, man. And I was just saying, like, a lot of people don't understand that pull, that energy, that toxic energy is real. But this is the thing, man. This is the thing most people need to know about that. First off, right? And I don't want to get too far off topic. But guys, when a woman has this kind of pull on you, you have to understand this. When it comes to toxic relationships. The only way that toxic bond can stay alive is if there's an energy exchange. What does that mean? What that means is when she's walking out the door, when you're leaving, if she does stuff to piss you off and it actually pisses you off, that's to her advantage. You're giving her your energy. She wants you angry at her. Y'all could not talk for 100 years. If you're still angry at her, she still has power over you. You know what I'm saying? Because of that emotional exchange. You're still angry. That's still an emotion. And I tell you all the time, emotion is creative power. So if you're tied up with a woman or a man, whatever, that's someone that's a million miles away and you're still giving them this energy, they still have you on their puppet strings. They're still taking your energy. You know what I'm saying? That's a hack from the negative side, man. So when your woman walks out the door, she wants you angry, man. She wants you angry, and that leads me to the solution. See, you have to get to the point where you can forgive those that have done you wrong. And I'm telling you, sometimes that's not hard because when you talk about people that mishandled you at a young age, when you talk about that, it's hard to say, you know what, you violated me at a, when I was when I couldn't really do much about it. It's hard to do that. When you're in a bad relationship and this person is cheating, doing all this, taking all this stuff, it's hard to forgive that, man. When you have a parent that you felt done you kind of salty coming up, or wasn't fair, or wasn't present, it's hard to forgive these things. But I'm telling you, the only way you can get past it is to forgive. I was talking to Brother Bricks, man. Brother Bricks was passing through Dallas, and him and I were able to spend some time together. And I was just telling that brother, man. I was telling him about the relationship between him and his mother. From my point of view. We had the brother on God Talk a few weeks ago, and we kind of briefly covered the relationship with his mother. And I was just telling him, man, I said, you know what? Like, I love seeing y'all on camera now. I love seeing y'all at the point where y'all are now. I said it's like when I see y'all, even on the thumbnail, it's like y'all are glowing.
I feel like I'm healing. I feel like a lot of the trivial questions that I've had about my life are being answered through this mending of this relationship with my mom. And I'm also starting to see myself better and understand things like my patterns in relationship with women, right? And how that was related to the relationship that I had with my mom. I'm just getting all types of clarity around things like that.
You know, all I'm saying is this, brothers and sisters, is that the majority of us, if not all of us, are suffering from some kind of trauma. You know, and I talked about this few videos ago. Even if you think you were raised in the most perfect of environments, there's still something that happened in your youth that has altered you in a manner that you don't wish to be in. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, when it comes to healing past, you know, getting past this stuff and healing and all that stuff, it all comes down to simply forgiving. Because again, you're breaking that tie. You know, even if you aren't in communication with that person, even if you aren't talking to that person still, and y'all will never talk again, that forgiveness still has to be there because it's for you. You know what I'm saying? It's you breaking that tie. It's you putting yourself in position to start growing now. You know what I mean? And kind of like me and Brother Briggs talked about, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy for two people that are still living, that have issues that could be resolved just with a simple conversation, you know, but a lot of times our pride gets in the way. You know, I know people that have brothers and have sisters and some of their parents that they don't even communicate. Some of them live in the same city. Some of them can be in the same environment for long periods of time and won't even talk to each other. So you have to understand that once that person is gone, once they clock out, once you clock out, you can't go back and fix that then. You know what I'm saying? You can't go back and fix that relationship.
And you're really putting this in perspective for me, because I didn't really think about how profound it is. I mean, I feel it, you know, I acknowledge it, but when you put it in that context, like if I were to lose my mom before this moment happened, that could have changed the whole trajectory of my life. Yeah. So thanks for giving me that perspective on this situation, man. It makes me appreciate it even more.
When it comes to breaking, you know, curses, when it comes to healing and getting past things, it's simply a matter of forgiveness. You know, I can still remember the day that my dad died, just like it was yesterday. Now, this was bad, man. This was hard. It was tough. But what would happen the next day was very weird. She said, "It's my fault." She says, "Your dad was here last night."